Today we're making a delicious jalapeno popper chicken pot pie. This one is melt in your mouth and so delicious. You want to start off by pre-boiling your potatoes. I know that seems like a lot of extra work, but you don't want to try to bite into your chicken pot pie and have a crunchy potato in your food, do you? I didn't think so. So we're gonna dice it up. I know you see there's 2 potatoes right here and it says 1 large potato, but after I cut this one up, I realized that was a lot, and so I was like, I think 1 is enough, so I ended up putting the other one back. Up doing 4 large jalapenos and I de-seeded them. You can leave the seeds in there if you like spicy stuff. Spicy is not my thing. If you want kind of like a balanced flavor, you could probably leave the seeds of one of them and then the rest of them just take the seeds out, but I can't really do too spicy because especially that heartburn would just take me out. So I just de-seeded them and it was very delicious. It had the jalapeno flavor without the spice. I decided to cook my bacon in the oven. You could also do the air fryer, the microwave, the stove top. I've seen people make bacon every which way, but I decided to do the oven method. And something really cool is you can put it in there while the oven is preheating and it makes it like cook faster or something. I don't know, but it worked out perfectly. And I made bacon for something else just yesterday and I did not do that method, and I feel like it took 5 bajillion years. So I feel like it worked really well, but I can't really tell you how long I cooked the bacon for. You're just gonna have to use the discretion of your oven and kind of keep an eye on it. And you want it to be crispy, but you don't want it to be burnt. I did use puff pastry for this, and I think it turned out like great. Like, I love the taste of puff pastry. It's so buttery and delicious. I do not have the patience to try to sit here and make puff pastry or try to make a pie crust. I am a cook at heart, not a baker. I do have some baking videos on my channel, but I have a bread machine, so that's the only reason I'm able to do that, because I don't do good with like precise measurements. I get y'all precise measurements of like seasonings and stuff, but honestly I just be eyeballing stuff and tasting as I go. That's the beauty of cooking. So baking is not for me. So I did buy this cute little store-bought puff pastry. Like I said, it tasted so good, and I would not do it any other way. You see how I'm struggling to get this to fit perfectly in this thing? You can do a circular pan. I thought about doing that, but I think with like the filling I made was like too much to try to fit into a little tiny pan. You do need to poke holes in it to try to help prevent it from like turn it into a big bubble. You can weigh it down with either beans on top of I've seen people do beans on top of some foil. I've seen people do like rice or weights or whatever. I didn't do it, and it did puff up, but I just let it sit there and like deflate on its own, and it worked out perfectly. If you put it in the oven without baking it first, it's gonna like get soggy and gross. fat and the flour, you're essentially making a roux, kind of like you would do with Alfredo, some mac and cheeses, gravy, all of that. So you want to make sure you cook that flour out for at least a minute so that it doesn't end up tasting like flour in the end. And then you want to slowly add your 2 cups of milk and stir it because it's going to start thickening up really good. You don't want it to be like a gravy or like an Alfredo where it's like kind of runny. You want it to be moderately thick, but not too thick, but you want it to be moderately thick so that the end product, you're able to actually scoop it up and it not just fall all over the place and make a big mess. Try to do room temp cream cheese, but if you're anything like me, I forget to put the cream cheese out to room temp, so I just tried to do it in cubes and like whisk it in there as best I can to get it to melt. Get too thick, you may have to add a little bit more milk to it. I kept adding a little bit more milk because I knew I was going to be adding in the potatoes and that would kind of thicken it up, and I knew it was going to go into the oven, which will end up causing it to thick a little bit more. And then when we sit it out later to allow it to like come together and thicken, it will get thicker. So I just didn't want it to be like so thick whenever the end product. I wanted it to be perfectly thick. To talk about how delicious this recipe is, and not to toot my own horn, but I feel like, have you ever had one of those recipes where you taste it and you're like, man, I really outdid myself on this one? Like the type of recipe that you want like everybody that you know to try it because it's so good and you can't even believe that you made it because it's that good. Like that's how I feel about this, because jalapeno poppers are good in general, but this kind of like takes it to the next level. There's so many things going for it. It's seasoned perfectly. You know, it has cheese, it has the jalapenos, it has bacon, it has garlic. It's just everything that you want in a dish. And it's so good. I had to put broccoli on the side of mine because I just can't eat something this heavy without like a vegetable, but that's just my thing. But you can also add different things to it. You could add corn. I'm not really a huge fan of corn in things, but you could add corn, you could add cauliflower, you could add broccoli if you wanted to. You could just make this your own and just try different things in it, and I feel like it would be delicious. To cook a couple chicken breasts in the air fryer for this recipe. I personally don't like shredded chicken in like recipes. I feel like it just like the stringiness of it kind of gives me the ick. So I kind of like it to be chopped chicken, and so that's why I decided to do this. But you can use rotisserie chicken if that's what you like, and if you want it to be a little bit more convenient, because this is a whole thing. There's like a lot of moving parts to this. So if you just want to buy rotisserie chicken, be my guest. If you want to like cook some chicken in the Instapot and shred it, or whatever you want to do, that works perfectly fine if you want to make it easier for yourself. But I would recommend, if you use rotisserie chicken, if you shred some chicken yourself, to cook the chicken and season the shredded mixture. Do not put bland chicken inside of this. It will dilute the flavor. Please add some ranch seasoning. That would be good. I used ranch seasoning on the top of this, as you can see, and it made it really flavorful. Just make sure that you're seasoning your chicken well, because I'm not gonna lie, one of my worst fears is one of y'all trying one of my recipes and then commenting down below in the description that it was not flavorful enough, because I pride myself on the fact that I season my food very well, and no one has ever really told me that my food is bland. I have tasted my food before and was like, dang, this needs a little bit of salt. But different people like different salt flavors. I do have high blood pressure, so take that with that information what you will. But I do like my food to be seasoned. My puff pastry looked like after I pre-baked it. I didn't let it get too dark, it's not too brown, but it did get kind of brown on the bottom whenever I baked it again with the contents in it, and I honestly think it was perfect. So I think the 10 minutes at 400 is the sweet spot, but different ovens go to different temperatures. But you see how thick my gravy is? This is what I was talking about before, where you want it to be thick, but you don't want it to be runny, but you don't want it to be like so thick that it's like, ew, what even is this? You want it to be like perfectly thick, like this. I had to do some geometry in order to get this to fit on here perfectly. I had a couple tiny pieces left over from whenever I did the bottom, and that's what you see me here like kind of makeshifting and kind of like patching it together. So just do, it doesn't have to be beautiful, it just has to taste good. That's just my motto. But some people are perfectionists and they want their food to look good too, but I just don't have it in me to sit here and try to make it look as beautiful as it could. Maybe someday, but not today, because this is real life. Like, this is our dinner. Like, me and my husband ate this for dinner last night. This is not just me putting on a show and making this stuff for fun. I am kind of making it for fun, but I'm also eating it. Like, this is my dinner. So I don't really have the patience to sit here and try to make things as beautiful as I possibly can whenever I'm starving to death. Me and my husband had went to the gym. I came straight home and I started cooking on this. So I was starving to death, and so I just kind of did what I could to make it look as best I could with the time that I had, with my husband hovering over me, breathing down my neck, saying that he's starving. With all that said, don't judge me for the way that it looks, but think about the way that it tastes, which is delicious. Think of chicken pot pie if it was like a pastry, and that's what this is, like a gourmet pastry chicken pot pie. Even though I was harping about how it wasn't beautiful, but look how golden and beautiful she actually turned out being. Anyways, I had fun hanging out with you guys. See you guys next time. And if you decide to make this, tell me what you think.